3, 2, 1, bro.
It's time to get rewound with the rewind of 2010.
Indeed.
Now, we did a best of the decade list.
Decade.
Talking about the best games of the decade, but guess what? Those are not the only games that came out this decade.
Some of these years were harsh.
They were packed with games.
Indeed. So now when we were trying to do the list, we were like, we got to do a whole subset of videos just talking about all the games we missed, because there are so many massive games that just happen to not be our two favorites, you know?
Yes.
So we're going to go through this, go year by year, short, punchy little videos, and just the games that we missed, games that we liked, and then other games that maybe came out that we haven't played before, but are very well known.
Yeah.
And if we miss anything, put it down in the comments. If any ones we're mentioning here are your favorite, put it down in the comments.
We're still going to miss them, y'all. We're still going to miss them. So this is 2010.
Just 2010.
The rewind of just 2010. A little deeper look, I'd say, in focus, but we get sued by the other people we work for, so.
Yeah, exactly.
But we're going to go a little more deeply into 2010 to talk about some other games that came out. Now, this was the year that had the fewest games that were games we played, games that we've heard of or interested in, and it's just because it was
10 years ago.
Farthest away. It's 10 years ago, so we just don't play many of those as a people anymore, and it was furthest away from us being in the hobby.
It really, really was. But there are still some big games that came out, ones that we really like, and then other ones that we want to play but haven't had a chance to. Number one is Seven Wonders. I mean, that's really the game that I think revolutionized drafting. Like, base Seven Wonders.
Man, people have played a lot of Seven Wonders. There's still stuff coming out for Seven Wonders today.
All the time, I know. And so Seven Wonders is a great drafting game.
Quick, snappy.
Quick, snappy. Mike plays on the app. Can play in about 30 seconds, which is, to me, a little too fast.
Very fast. So fast that I do not play well ever. I'm just not good at it because I just don't really even think about what I'm doing. I'm just like, oh, that's a card. I'm gonna get that card.
Another game that came out that I was okay on it, but you liked a lot more than me, was London. The first edition of London, the Martin Wallace game. Yeah. Now they had a second edition, but the first edition came out in 2010.
Started that off.
Yeah, that's a game that
put London on the map finally. The town
finally got its little port town. Speaking of another tiny little town, Lords of Vegas came out in 2010, which is a game we actually got to play at Dice Tower West.
Yeah,
so we got to play it in Vegas, which was fun.
Vegas. We were gambling on certain things hitting.
Yeah.
And then we can go and gamble
like
on
dice
real
in
things.
the game that you're placing on different like casinos and stuff like that, trying to gain majorities.
Build it out.
Fun little game.
Majorities and shares and things.
Yeah, it's like I always get this game and Vegas Showdown mixed up, which is another game that we like a lot.
Lords of Vegas was cool.
Yeah, Lords of Vegas was fun though,
and it felt like gambling.
And now finally,
you have certain things hitting.
It's a dry town, you know, Vegas. Yeah. It's a dry town on every day but Tuesday. It's dry.
That's all I think of every time I'm there. I'm like, I really wish I could gamble.
Gotta be nice.
I'd like to not be certain I'm going to keep my money, but maybe I'll get more money.
But maybe I'll get more
somehow.
Oh. Another game, which is the first in now a trilogy, was Forbidden Island.
Oh, it's been a trilogy over kind of a nice long decade.
Yeah, it has been. It really has actually. Because Forbidden Sky came out last year.
I think so.
Yeah. So Forbidden Island is a kind of a pandemic sequel-ish, or as people call it, and stuff like that. But and then
some overlap to say you're trying. It's a cooperative game where you all have slightly different powers. You're trying to work toward a common goal. You're trying to get off an island before it sinks beneath you.
Indeed. And they came out with Forbidden Desert, which is it's kind of easy. They're all tied in.
Yeah. There's a story that gets you from one to the next. Yeah. So you kind of like get off the island and you crash. And your ship goes all these pieces everywhere.
You gotta find it in the desert.
And you gotta go and find it and reassemble it to fly off into the stars, where you then are gonna trade that crap in for a rocket.
Yeah, pretty brutal.
So it's kind of cool the way it all
Yeah, it's a cool little thing.
Yeah, it's a cool game. It's fun to be a cooperative where you have little powers. I'm good at this one thing that's gonna help us get out of this situation. Yeah. You're good at that thing that's gonna help us get out of this situation.
It's cheap too. Mega cheap.
Yeah, really cheap.
Mega cheap.
You find it less than $20 a lot of places. It's at Targets and things. Forbidden Island is super cool. Last game that, like, I don't know if you've ever played much, but I played a little bit because I have the app, is Mr. Jack Pocket.
We've played Mr. Jack before. We played like 1 or 2 games Mr. Jack in Game House. It was a 2-player hidden movement game.
Yeah, and then there's Mr. Jack Pocket, which is a smaller version of that game with these like tiles and like I need to come back to it because it was like one of the first games I ever got on the app because it was like $1 or something. It was super cheap whatever day I got it. But it's very Mr. Jack where you can choose like, Sherlock and stuff, and you have these different roles and they have different abilities and you're trying to like figure out where Jack the Ripper is and stuff. And I was just like, I don't think I've ever won or even come close to it. But for the longest time, before we played Mr. Jack, I was like, I don't get what I'm trying to do. Then I played Mr. Jack, I was like, oh, I see how the rolls do the thing. Okay. So I want to come back to it. Mr. Jack Pocket came out.
Specifically Mr. Jack Pocket. Bruno Catala, the best.
So
those are our favorite games that we have played from the year, but there are a bunch of different games that came out in 2010
I was surprised.
that
I was thinking like nothing came out.
Nothing came out. A ton came out. One, 51st State came out, which is it's now gotten
Pre-Imperial Settlers. It's Imperial Settlers.
Imperial Settlers, now there's Empires of the North, which is just Imperial Settlers. So they've basically rehashed this game like 3 times now. 51st State still got a ton of expansions. Pret A Porter, the original Pret A Porter, which also from Portal Games, just got a reprint through Kickstarter, and it just hit people's hands. That came out in 2010.
Ghost Blitz, which is like a little game where you're like, you have different objects out on the table, and you flip over a card, and you either have to find like the thing that's blue or the rat, or if there's like a certain amount of colors, you have to find the thing that's not on the card and grab it. So it's like a fun little, just quick. I played it recently. It's actually really fun.
Oh, okay, cool. Catacombs, which is a game
like a little dexterity game.
Yeah, a little dexterity game, which is cool.
It's like isn't a dexterity like dungeon crawler type?
I think so. Yeah, if I'm thinking
going around.
I get Catacombs and Claustrophobia mixed up. Claustrophobia might be the dexterity game. I get those two mixed up.
Whatever Catacombs.
We haven't played either.
I think
So that's
Catacombs is
probably
because they have Catacombs. I don't know.
Probably. Firenze, which we also
Firenze.
never played, but I've always heard very good things.
It's back out now.
Ascension is a game that people freaking love and has a ton of expansions. Apparently a really good app, too.
Yeah.
Ascension.
So if you want to get some deck builder badness up in there. Veenhouse.
Veenhouse, that Vita Lacerda hotness. We never played it because I'm always just like, I'm a viticulture guy. I know,
but maybe Venus is like, you want to go even deeper
You want to get heavier with it?
Well, maybe it'd be great.
I don't know. And then Merchants and Marauders, which is a big, long game. If I remember correctly, it's giant and very, very long, but it's a pirate game. And I do love the pirate
theme. Can you be a merchant or a marauder?
I think you can be mostly you make waistcoats. Like
marauding merchants.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Cool.
Alien Frontiers came out, which is a very popular game. Tois, which is a game that I really want to try because I know a lot of people. I really dislike the cover of Tois, and that's what's always turned me off of it. But I've always wanted to try because I've always heard it's really, really good. Tois, indeed. And then Dominant Species, which is a game that I played.
One of your earliest games.
That was probably the second hobby game I played. Well, third, I guess, after pandemic. That's too heavy for your third.
That's a 1, 2, and 3. Like, whoa.
That's a heavy game for your third game. But I did not know what was going on. I lost horrendously. I want to try it again because it's one of those things where, in my head, Dominant Species is the heaviest game that's ever been made because of when I played it.
Yeah.
And now I'm probably, it's probably not that bad. I'm sure, and I know it's a heavy game, but like it's probably, we could probably handle it no problem. Kind of like we got Dungeon Pets early on in our career, in our board gaming careers. And it was way too heavy for when we got it. And so for years and years, I always thought Dungeon Pets was the heaviest game ever.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, it's a heavy game, but like we play it now, we're like, oh no, we could play it. Like if we play Dungeon Pets, we were like, that has to be the only game we play.
Yeah.
Because our minds will be such mush that we can't do it. Okay. And then now we're kind of like, oh no, we can play some afterwards. It's not a big deal.
Yeah. So it's funny how the mind fortifies itself. And so anyway, that's just a few games from 2010. Obviously, the ones that we chose were Onirim and Hanabi.
That was our top this year, Onirim and Hanabi.
And there's many more games from that time. What have you been playing since 2010, from 2010, discovered new or old, or whenever you came to it? What games did we not talk about? There's so many more listed over there on BGG.
There's a lot.
That are just, we can't get to them all. But anyway, that is a quick rewind through 2010.
Yep.
And some of the games. Let us know what your thoughts are on those games in the comments below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. We're going to be doing this for every year of this dang decade.
Indeed. Ended with the big top 10 games 2019.
Full on proper top 10, and with these kind of little casual rewinds leading up to it. So thank you so much. I've been Mike Murphy.
I'm Nick Murphy.
We're the Brothers Murph, and we just rewound it. See you in the next one.